Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to an evening of fun, celebration, and entertainment as the Indianapolis Motor Speedway kicks off a 3-year centennial celebration. Please join me in welcoming the Executive Board of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Thank you all for being here with us this evening for this very special celebration. Speaking on behalf of Mary Holman George and the entire Holman George family, we're extremely grateful for your support. With all our continued support, we will provide memories for generations to come. So again, I thank you for being with us this evening and the spirit that moves so many of us.
We have all 3 former 4-time winners with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, A.J. Foyt, Al Unser, and Rick Mears. Do you realize that your winnings in 1964 were $153,650, as compared with Scott Dixon making $2.9 million for last year's race? Do you need a loan or anything?
That's the reason I don't have a tux on.
Oh, yeah. What has Indianapolis meant to you?
My whole life. You know, I won a lot of great races. You know, Le Mans wasn't that bad. Daytona wasn't that bad, but this one stood over all of them by far, and I think this is where everybody knows A.J. Foyt.
Did you ever have any on-track skirmishes with Foyt?
We had a couple of talks a couple of times, and
he always won?
Yeah, he was a lot bigger, can't you tell?
When did you first learn about Indianapolis and think about maybe you're wanting to race here?
I never dreamed of coming here. I mean, this was way out of my league. You know, I never actually thought about getting into an Indy car until about 6 months before it actually happened, and actually never dreamed of being here until almost just before it happened.
Well, we're certainly glad you did stop by for your 4 victories. Again, ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause. And Janet Guthrie. What was your fondest moment? Was it your first start?
The first time you ever put a car in the field here is a moment you'll never forget, and I will remember that to my dying day.
For years, the 500-mile race was the only event at the Speedway. That all changed in 1994 when the full-bodied stock cars from NASCAR came calling. Now, some people have said that your win here at the All-State 400 at the Brickyard in 1994 was almost too perfect. As it unfolded during the race, were you feeling that emotion?
Absolutely. You know, still to this day, one of the most incredible days of my life. And if anybody ever asks me what my all-time favorite win is, I always point to the 1994 inaugural Brickyard 400.
It's been such a pleasure and an honor to race on the Speedway, to experience Victory Lane, to go out and kiss the bricks. I mean, it's indescribable, the emotions that come with it. And I certainly hope that someday, before I hang up my helmet, I have a chance to be out there in an Indy car and live that moment myself.
Now here are 3-time winner Bobby and 2-time winner Al Unser Jr. You did prove your greatness with 3 wins in Indianapolis. Any one of them more special than the other?
Obviously, my first win has to be. Tony Holman had made the statement that it was the finest race that they had ever had in Indianapolis up to that time. No matter what race driver talks to you, he'll have to say that the first win is always the most important, because nobody ever really thinks they can win when they come here.
Your first win, the closest finish in the history of the 500. And his quote in Victory Lane after he won was, "With tears in his eyes, you just don't know what Indy means." That is pretty much all that needs to be said on this evening.
Yeah, you know, definitely when your first interview up here with A.J. Foyt, you know, he said it's life, and that's what it is. It was my whole life.
Every time I see the track now, I kind of get a little emotional. Some of the guys were talking about crying earlier. I just have to see the place now, and I feel a tug at the old heartstrings.
You know, tonight is honestly one of the most humbling nights, to see the amount of people that have been up on the stage and hearing their stories. It's just amazing to see what's actually gone on in this place, and you know, to see that the tradition carries on. It really means a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the front of the stage perhaps the greatest gathering of former Indy 500 winners and All-State 400 of the Brickyard winners ever